here at the Hazelwood Central Paul Enke Invitational. Chris Ockley, Missouri track fanatic and running junkie, with Sean Conlin, the Fort Zumwalt East senior, who was an all-stater last year. Had a great 1-2 duo last year with Joe Bender. Am I saying that right?
You are.
And you guys went 16th, 21st last year at state, and qualified for 3 events. You did last year at track in the 4x8, 16 and 32, and had a great day today. Runner-up finish behind Dylan Quisenberry of Lafayette, 17:05, and you were just 5 seconds back, 17:10. Tell me what the expectations were going in. I assume you ran St. Charles last week.
We ran First Capital. Yep.
How did that go for you?
It went good. First Capital, there wasn't as many teams as we would have liked to have.
Sure.
And it was scored in separate divisions, so I really didn't see enough, other runners.
Sure.
Which, that's the breaks.
Did you end up winning there?
I did win that meet, yes.
That must have given you some confidence going today.
It did. And actually today I ran faster.
Okay.
Which, even though the course here is a little bit harder, I think it's because I had, Dylan Quisenberry to push me. And so that definitely helped.
Yeah.
I just, going into it, my thoughts were just, to get out there and just kind of run my own race.
Sure.
But then use the people around me to try to make myself faster.
Yeah.
And so that's what I went out to do.
Yeah. And you'd run here before?
I ran here once before, yeah.
Okay. So you were familiar with the hills, and how did the race get off the first half or so? Did you?
First half, we ran just, elbow and elbow.
Okay, you and Dylan?
For the first, say, mile and a half.
Okay.
Then he started gapping me. And then another Lafayette kid, came around.
Sure.
And then by the end, that's where, I started to kick it into gear. And then I caught the Lafayette kid, but didn't catch Quisenberry. Saw him, going in the straightaway.
Sure.
He looked back, and then but by then it was, it was too late. And not to say, Quisenberry's definitely a phenomenal runner. Who's to say that, hey, his kick is not just as comparable. So,
yeah. Well, how did you handle the hills? Felt like you were solid all the way through all the big hills?
I thought all the way up until I hit the Manmaker the second time. It was pretty rough there, but other than that, I think I conquered him pretty strongly.
Yeah.
But I used the top of the hills. That's where I'd start moving.
Right.
Kind of conserve a little bit. I just tried to use the points where my energy would kind of go the furthest. If I'm going to sprint up a hill, it's probably not as good of idea as if I sprint on the flats.
Sure.
So,
so pretty happy overall with the race and how it played out and how it finished?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm just curious to see how, next week goes at Forest Park.
Okay.
So,
Well, I know you and Joe were really in the mix early on, and if I remember correctly, faded a little bit over the last mile or so, and seems like you guys were up just off that lead group. And what have you taken from the previous races, and what do you hope to do there next week? Well,
from the previous races, there's always things you can improve on.
Sure.
Being a runner. But what I want to do, in the future is just have that exhaustion that I used to have as like a freshman, and as like, when I was younger, I would definitely be so winded, and now it's not necessarily my lungs that can't take it because I have the endurance, but it's more my legs that are kind of conking out. They're getting tired, they're getting heavy. So I'd like to improve on that and just push harder.
Yeah. And what next week? What do you think it'll take to try to keep some of those elite guys from around the Midwest that'll be there, to keep them close as possible and finish strong? Or
it's going to take. You're going to have to go out hard with that pack.
Yeah.
And you got to kind of wait and see what people do. I wouldn't necessarily recommend running. Leading it. In my case, I wouldn't want to do that. But that finish is going to be where it comes down. I feel like we're going to be running together all the way up until that last half mile, last mile. So
Well, what's your favorite part of the Forest Park meet?
The favorite part, it's a quick course.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to run a quick time. Hopefully it's not my quickest time though, because I want to be progressing.
Sure.
And another good part is just you see competition. Yeah. That's one thing that is hard as a runner, is if you don't have competition, it's hard to get faster.
Sure. And was it especially tough today, being this meet was moved up 2 weeks than it normally is, to have to run these tough hills so early in the season?
I mean, I guess I only benefit the more I race and the harder conditions I see the earlier on. I guess the more experience I have, so
yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah. Well, congrats on the win last week at First Capital and a runner-up finish today. And thanks for the time and good luck next week at Forest Park.
Thank you very much.
All right, appreciate it.